It's the moment everyone's been waiting for. The debut of the PC Engine's big franchise, Kaizou Choujin Shubibinman. I'm not even being especially sarcastic there. This is one of the PC Engine's big franchises. Until very recently, though, only one of the games had been released outside of Japan, and it was the second one. But for some weird reason, with the 2023 re-releases, someone got the bright idea to localize the entire franchise. The title chosen for that was Cyber Citizen Shockman, which, fair enough as a title. The Japanese title could be translated as Modified Citizen Shubibinman, and Shockman was already chosen as his English name, so Cyber Citizen Shockman conveys the concept well enough. The plot of the first game is that the Earth has been conquered by Akukandan, or the Subspace Corps. To fight back against the aliens, Dr. Godokuji has abducted a fishmonger named Tasuke and a high school student named Kapiko, and converted them into cyborg warriors. He'll change them back if they're able to destroy the Akukandan's base on Earth. Fortunately, the invasion seems to mainly be confined to about a 10-block radius, and the residents of the town are happy to help out, at least once you've freed their area from the aliens. When you start the game, you get to choose if you're going to play as Tasuke or Kapiko. There's no gameplay difference between them though. Kaizou Choujin Shubibinman has a 2-player mode, where each player is controlling one of them. Players can't hurt each other, but they can stun each other when you play like this. So this is one of those cooperative games where you're going to be getting into each other's way a whole lot. Between stages, you've got a map of the city, and you'll notice that you can reach the fortress in just 4 stages. Doing that would be a pretty bad idea though, since the resources you gather around town are very useful for clearing that final stage. On the map you can select which stage to go to, repair yourself to full health, purchase an upgrade, or buy a hint. For moving, you can freely go through any stage that you've already cleared, and entering a stage advances time. There's a day and night cycle in Shubibinman, though the only significant effect you're going to see is the background graphics. You have to destroy the fortress by the dawn of the 18th day in order to win. There's 15 stages in total, and you get 34 attempts before you run out of time, so the time limit actually isn't that bad at all. Getting repaired costs 1,000 yen, and that's actually a bit expensive in this game. There's a finite amount of cash in Shubibinman. Every enemy has predetermined drops, and it's rare that you're going to find more than 400 or 500 yen on a stage. Health recovery items dropped by enemies, and helpful citizens giving you free repairs after you clear a level are much more useful resources than paying that amount. On the other hand, when it comes to shopping, there's 2 items that you can buy. The first is the Shubibinman beam at 300 yen, and the second is an upgrade to that beam at 700 yen. Once you've purchased both of them, there's nothing else. So maybe you should go ahead and use your money on those repairs. In stages, you use the Shubibin beam by pressing and holding button 2 until it charges. Although you can't do this until you've gotten permission from the police officer in town. Fortunately, the police box is one of the first 3 stages you can choose from. Your normal weapon is a sword that you swing by tapping button 2. The sword has a lot greater reach than it looks like, and it extends both vertically and horizontally. The beam, on the other hand, is almost useless. It takes so long to charge you really can't fire it at a boss. You have to be motionless while charging so you can't fire it in the air, and all of that means is it's really only good when you've got enemies lined up on distant platforms. Most enemies in Kaizou Choujin Shubibinman drop something. The gold bars are money, and the batteries recharge your health. If you find a bomb, it destroys all enemies on the screen, and the stars make you invulnerable for a short period. There's also this thing which will cause you to jump super high. I think it's supposed to be a spring, and the effect goes away after a few seconds. There isn't a huge variety of enemies in this game, and you can pretty easily learn their patterns. The robots carrying missiles, for example, will throw them at you when you approach, and these will always zoom in at you at head height. It's generally better to duck under them than jump over them. The dragon monsters will swoop and circle, and the rat robots hop up and down a whole lot. The bosses also have fairly simple patterns, and initially, you're probably better off just running up to them and swinging, since they only take a few hits. Later on, the health bars grow pretty deep, but the patterns are still simple and repetitive, so once you've spotted the gap, you just do that for a very long time. On the other hand, this invisible dragon is a real pain, hurting you even when he's vanished and not really letting you have opportunities to strike back. The bosses also get reused constantly, though at least they all have slightly different patterns for every stage. The real hazard in Shubibinman is the stage design. Tosuke and Kapiko are very slow, jump stiffly, and lack general maneuverability. And once you're past the first stages, you're going to find that they demand precision, instant reflexes, and amazing jumping. One of the favorite tricks later on is having platforms with complicated movement patterns that don't do anything until you get on them. So the first time you encounter these, you're gonna get hurt. The level design in Shubibinman is unfair, and it gets more unfair the further you get in the game. Couple that with characters who feel like they're stuck in mud, and the experience can become pretty draining. When you run out of energy, you're taken back to the starting point and lose half your money. And of course, your attempt at that stage advanced the timer. If you successfully clear a stage, then you get some kind of reward. You might get the permit to use your beam, an item that will restore a bit of health if you run out, or you might get fully healed without having to pay for it. There's also extensions to your maximum health bar, which is really what you want to hunt for while you're playing, and unfortunately these go away if you run out of energy and continue. So it might be better to save getting those until it's time for the final assault. As I mentioned, Kaizou Choujin Shubibinman was a pretty big hit in Japan, one of the best-selling PC Engine games of 1989. Obviously, my response is a bit more muted. I can see the potential here, but I feel like the whole thing doesn't really work. On the other hand, I also think that this is a series that improves as it goes along. So this is the rough start, and we'll see better soon.